Hey guys, it's me, that dude with the beard, and, well, today I picked a doozy for you. I picked a game reviewer. And I know what you're thinking, that dude with the beard. Why do you always review or commentate on people who are reviewers? Simple. So many of them are just annoying and think they're better than everybody else. And today's is no different. It's Podcrash, and its review of Duke Nukem Forever.
Once upon a time, it was a great series of games. I was -3 when the first one came out, so have never actually played the older games. However, I am not a wanker in terms of knowing what a good game is and enjoying playing a huge variety of genres. I haven't just played COD and then claimed to be a mega hyper ultra gamer. The game series I am talking about is in fact Duke Nukem.
I love how pretentious that sounds. How you think that somebody will not understand that you're reviewing a Duke Nukem game, but then you shoot yourself in the foot by saying, I never played a Duke Nukem game. So in all reality, your opinion is going to be kind of biased whether you think about it or not. Oh, and one other thing that I should say. A lot of fans really love this game because it's pretty much a shout out to everybody who's been waiting for 12 years.
Now take away the old games, they are sealed in the time capsule of good games. Let's pinpoint our hatred towards Duke Nukem Forever. There are a huge amount of issues with this game which just shouldn't exist. It was in development for 12 years. My assumption is the companies before it shat on paper and passed the buck on, knowing it was a dead franchise to the final developers.
Okay, I've never heard that one before, but to be honest, Duke Nukem was not a dead franchise. I mean, it was going strong in the 90s with Duke Nukem 3D, Duke Nukem 64, and various other games. The thing is that, well, 3D Realms got really arrogant and thought that they could put off the release of Duke Nukem Forever, but unfortunately they couldn't get it off the ground. Other companies that picked it up didn't have time to make it. In fact, many of them ran out of funding. So in all reality, it wasn't because it was a dead franchise, it was because they couldn't afford it. Something that many people like you don't seem to understand.
Final developers. Here is a list of the developers during the 12-year life cycle. 3D Realms, Triptych Games, Gearbox Software, and Piranha Games. I have looked briefly into this topic, but everything I say is relevant towards this game and should be mentioned in the review for that reason. Apologies if you have no heart to listen to this bit. 3D Realms hasn't fully made a game since 1996. Triptych works secretly like secret bastards. Gearbox has got a good history and helps develop published games such as Borderlands, and Piranha Game creates shitty unheard of games for the PSP and DS. So this game really was set to fail from the beginning.
Just because they made bad games makes it a bad game? That makes no sense. Everyone has made a bad game. Look at LucasArts. They have made a lot of great games, but Star Wars for the Kinect sucked. So maybe if you weren't so pretentious in thinking that you know everything about the game, instead of, oh, I don't know, thinking about it from a developer standpoint, or, I don't know, the financial standpoint, maybe you would know this type of thing. But then again, you are a reviewer, so you automatically think you know everything.
I decided this series was going to change slightly. Instead of completely destroying a game, I'm going to critically analyse it in an abusive way, but point out the good parts too. It's only fair, right?
Ha ha ha, realistic/abusive, that sounds fair. No, but seriously, I'm just gonna say this, you're gonna have the same exact problems that everybody else has, like the graphics not being as good as the others, or the guns aren't realistic to tick, or Duke is a misogynist, despite the fact he's been that way since, oh, I don't know, some of his earlier games. The problem with most of you reviewers is that you assume that every game has to change over time, when in reality, it doesn't. This game was made for fans, not for pretentious little reviewers who think that they know everything about it. Oh, and by the way, guys, just be ready for something he's going to say during sound design, where I am going to just have to lay into him.
Starting off with the graphics. The graphics on this game are just average for 2011. No real effort has gone into the surroundings. It's just a bog standard simple game. You know, if anything, it may actually even be below average because look at the gameplay. The explosions are just pixelated particles, and the floors and the walls and the people are very boring and plain. The art style for this game was something like this. Okay graphics dude, go grey. The colour grey, go to town. I'm giving you full control here.
You know, while I will admit that you have a point with the gray, I don't think the graphics were all that terrible. I mean, they aren't great, but they aren't terrible. My main problem with this review is that it seems that you really aren't giving it a chance. You're just basing it off of I don't know, your own personal experience. And what's with only showing one simple area? Why don't you show us something like, oh, I don't know, the casino, or maybe when he's outside, or how about when he's driving around? Those weren't gray, those were brown. But let me guess, you just have to use this as an example because it's the first level, and everyone needs to see just the first level.
But you can only use grey. Okay, fine, maybe some shit stain, but go for grey. This instantly puts the graphics down. They aren't terrible graphics though, so I have to mention that. It's just basically a game from early 2000s reskinned. That's what it looks like to me. So if anything, they are shit, because you can see that absolutely no effort went into them. More effort went into me drawing a dick on the whiteboard than the graphics of a dead GameStar's return to shit.
I'm sorry, but that's extremely pretentious to say that they put no effort into the game's graphical quality. It's like saying, oh, you know that game Borderlands? Yeah, it had no effort into it at all. It just is so much like every other first-person shooter game. Oh, but you know what my favorite thing is? Soon enough, you're going to insult the developers, or should I say, a certain voice actor. And that is where I will lay into you for being such a humongous ass.
Going into the sound. Sound creates atmosphere, tension, funny moments, epic moments, hardcore moments. It's a very, very important aspect of any media. It appears the developers of this game didn't know that vital piece of information and thought, fuck it, that'll do. Oi Jimmy, chuck us that bucket, I want to fart in it, record the noise. The guns are just terrible little pew sounds that sound awful. You're shooting a powerful weapon, not a Nerf gun. Make it just sound epic. Hype up the player. Don't make them want to turn that gun on.
Duke is considered a parody of most games. While he does conform to some of the things that happens in most modern games, he still makes puns and jokes about it. But my main problem with this is that, oh, it's not like what I want. I don't like it, so it's not good enough. Oh, and once again, great job insulting the people that actually tried to put effort into it, while as you just say, nope, they didn't do it, they didn't.
Their own head. This would not be a sound review without the goddamn cheesy awful quotes that Duke churns from his ass. That's right, Duke, I can do it too. Let's start with, welcome to Coolsville, population me. Now we all love cheese, but the voicing for Duke is just so bad. It's like he's trying to live on his cheese alone.
Now I'm really pissed off.
In this decade, no one wants to listen to any amount of bullshit from an overhyped, waste of space, pointless action hero. You want a hero? Go speak to Marcus Phoenix, or Master Chief, or Kratos. They are badasses. Duke's just a pussy in comparison, and his god-awful sound acting is just not helping his case.
Master Chief is just a generic hero that has absolutely no personality. Whereas Kratos, while he does have a personality and he is badass, he's actually quite memorable. But Duke is memorable, and he is a very fun character. So what if he's cheesy to you? You're British. No one gives a shit what you think about an American hero.
Not only this, but everyone in the game sucks Duke off. It's the most annoying sound I have ever had to endure. Oh my god, Duke, can I fucking suck you off one more time? The answer is yet another shitty quote. Eat shit and die. I would say that the sound overall is the worst part because of the voice actors, the terrible guns and the awful music and atmosphere, sounds that are played. But we've not covered the game.
So let me get this straight. The game sucks because the developers didn't put any effort into it. It also sucks because the voice acting is bad because no one put effort into that. You know what? I don't care what kind of score you give the game. The fact that you actively targeted people who try their best to make a game seem good and enjoyable just proves that you don't understand anything about the game. I'm sorry, Podcash, but this is getting really, really, really annoying and really fucking stupid.
Gameplay yet? The gameplay is by far the worst part of the
I ought to break a broom handle off in your ass.
primarily play a game for, but without the other aspects, it's not really ever going to be classified as a good game. As you play, you feel like a weak character, clumsy sliding controls, and a really awkward feel to movement and aiming. This game is linear, and so you know exactly what is going to happen. Retarded, stupid, random objects are usable. For example, you can spin a chair, and drink from a tap, which makes you go, why didn't they improve on fighting rather than program this? The weapons feel weak and cheap. The surroundings look boring and plain. The enemies are incredibly low on intelligence, and you can predict their every move. What is good about the gameplay? Nothing is the answer to that. I'm not finished either. There are usually about 4 enemies max to fight. The gameplay is absolutely the most boring thing I have ever done in a game. You aimlessly walk around.
So let me get this straight. The fact that you actually have objects that you can pick up or move is stupid, despite the fact that interacting with them gives you an ego boost, and some of them are actually fun to use. Oh wait, then there's like the thing that you said there's that, how many enemies? Like 10 or, no, 4, you said 4. You know, it would be great if you actually showed proof instead of just showing random clips of the first few levels, because by the end, there's more than just 4 enemies. Hell, the final boss battle has you fighting the Cycloid Emperor, and there's at least 5 to 6 pig cops with rocket launchers and shotguns. Oh, but let's face it, this is Podcast. He obviously knows way more about the game. I'm so stupid.
An awful storyline, killing the worst enemies ever, one by one, dull by dull, and speak random crap. What were the developers thinking? It's also like they went in half-arsed with the mini puzzles, because it's like you don't get anywhere after it. The whole game gives you no sense of accomplishment, no gratitude, no joy.
This is one of the main reasons why I dislike it when people review Duke Nukem Forever. It's always the same things. No, I didn't like it because it's not the way it should be, because we know what's better for the game. The developers don't know because we're critics, and critics are so much better than everybody else, blah 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 blah. Here's a thought, why don't you stand in their shoes for a bit? Then you'd realize that, oh, I don't know, making these games are a lot harder than you playing them. But then again, that just wouldn't be fair because, you know, that means you couldn't be pretentious in a review.
No feeling. Literally, the developers produced what is known as a pile of wank. I didn't find any glitches playing this game, but if I was to criticize anything, I would say the game is a glitch. Redevelop it, but make it good this time. I truly feel sorry for the fans of this series, because this is a letdown and a shame to the older game.
You know, I remember you saying something prior to this video. It was something about the games before you were born. You know, let's just start over and see that.
-3 when the first one came out. So, have never actually played the older games.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Wait, doesn't that contradict your last statement? Oh, wait, no, it can't contradict your statement because you're a pretentious reviewer, and that must mean you speak eloquently like a British person, and automatically that makes your opinion ever so normal and above average.
The multiplayer is my idea of a bad time. It's just the shit gameplay of the campaign, but against people. I don't care about the map design or anything. I want to tell you about the quality of the multiplayer. It is definitely just the campaign. I'm so sorry for using this example, but it explains it perfectly. COD has a difference between the campaign and multiplayer. You can tell them apart. This waste of time game has a shocking feel to it. They really did remake a 90s game in 2011, which is just far-fetched. People have moved on. Gameplay and style has moved on. Nobody wants an old classic back, which sucks harder than your mama at a prostitution job.
I could have agreed with you for everything you said about the multiplayer. How long it takes to find a match, how long for the match to load, how annoying it is to get some really stupid rewards after this, or how about how some people are really freaking good, but at the same time, for some odd reason, in the next level, they suck. It's like they're modding themselves. But my real problem here isn't that. The problem is you did it again. You said, it's not what I want. It's not what people want. Well, guess what? You're not the final say, confused Matthew. You're not the only one who watches movies or plays video games. You do not get to tell us what everyone else will think. That is your problem. You have this self-importance that you're the last and most important person in the world to review these things. I've seen most of your reviews, and that's exactly your problem.
Mama at a prostitution job. To conclude, this waste of time is getting a 2 out of 10 because the graphics are mediocre. The sound is bad, but some saddos may quote it in their pathetic lives and go, "I'm so cool," and they get...
You know what? I'm done. The fact that you actually said that, the fact that people are losers if they actually quote a game, they're sad and pathetic, that just shows that you don't understand gamers. You don't understand the mentality of other people. I'm sorry, but you know what? Let me calm down. Calm down. Okay. This is what you need to work on. You need to work on your elaboration skills, showing video footage of your points. Or here's a good idea. How about this? What is it called? I don't know. Being fair. But I'm not done just yet because there's one person who wants to say something to you. Take it away, Mr. Nukem.
I'll rip your head off and shit down your neck.
Okay, that's kind of extreme, but you can go with that, I guess. Well, there is one last thing I wanted to say before I left, and the thing I wanted to say was, despite the scathing reviews that most people have gotten it, Duke has actually been fairly favorable at times. There actually are a few critics that generally do like the game, and it has also been included on the underrated games of 2011, which makes me wonder, do these not so well known critics know the difference between what makes a game good, or is it just the fact they went against the popular norm kind of thing? I don't know, but in any case, I'm that dude with the beard, and I got me some aliens to kill. I'll see you guys on the home front.